Viewer discretion is advised.
You're not an All Black till you cross the line, and that was the biggest moment emotionally, was to just cross that line. All the sacrifices that you would have had to do to get to that point, it all made it worth it.
What are those sacrifices that you had to make?
Obviously family time, like weddings or birthdays, you can't always make those things because of what you're trying to achieve and where you're trying to go. One of my biggest one in the spring, probably one of the biggest ones right throughout my career, was I think they were more happy that I was in the Samoan team then. And you can see it from when I played in the Samoan team and the local boys, how much it means to them to be in the Samoan team. And obviously that's all they see over here, all we see is ABs, that's what we want to be. My mum and dad and their generations and my grandma's generations, all they saw was Samoa. We had all the big boys, man. If everyone was coming to ask you for signatures, he'd just stand behind Dan Carter and then he'll take this whole bunch and then we'll just think through. The Haka isn't about trying to make the other team scared. It's about us connecting together through our movements and through the ground, and that's making us connect together with our actions, and that's preparing us to play. It is a challenge in a way, but for us personally, it's just for us to connect together before we go into battle.
Mandate.
Hi everyone, if you are enjoying the content and the guests that are on the podcast and you're wanting more, then please do us a favor. If you can just press the subscribe button, that would be an amazing help for us. But also, just want to mention an amazing organization called AOK, who sponsors the Mandate podcast. And so they are an organization that runs suicide prevention, intervention and wellbeing programs. And so AOK stands for Acts of Kindness. And so you didn't need me to tell you about the alarmingly high rates of suicide in our nation, especially amongst our rangatahi, our young people, even our tane, our men. And so if you're wanting to stand in the gap and you want to be well trained and well equipped to have these courageous life supporting conversations, then please check them out, aok.nz. If you're a business, a company or a collective, or even as an individual, check them out, www.aok.nz. You could very well be that one person to help save a life. Welcome to Mandate, where we navigate fresh perspectives and nothing is off the table. Tonight's guest is from Tāmaki Makura, in fact from South Okilani. The man is from a place called Pap, but better known to all of us as Papa Toi Toi. The man is an incredible individual who happens to be a former professional rugby player who played at the highest level, represented Aotearoa New Zealand as 1,116 number All Black. He played for the mighty All Blacks from 2012 all the way to 2017, and also he was part of the World Cup champion team in 2015. The man also played for these two amazing clubs, my beloved Auckland Blues. Yes, I'm a Blues man, the Blues. But also had a stint in France playing for the French team, Toulouse. But also the man in 2023, he represented the men in blue. Yes, the mighty blue team. Yes, Manu Samoa 685 baby. Yes, he represented them as well. And so I think he may have retired. I'm not too sure. He might say he hasn't. But the man is more than just a rugby player. He's an amazing dad. He's an amazing husband who has an amazing, an incredible story to share. Please put your hands together for one of New Zealand's finest and best props. Play for the ABs, Charlie Faumuina!
It's probably the best entrance I've ever had in my life, so I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and looking forward to it.
Oh man, I love usu. Hey, I know it's been a long time coming, Charlie. I think we tried to hit you up before. I know you're a busy man, but props to your wife. Rochelle, was it Rochelle?
Yep,
props to Rochelle. Hey, Rochelle, thank you for holding it down and for bringing him along. And so we thank your wife for that as well. But it's just to start the ball rolling. Obviously, All Blacks, and you had a long stint in the All Blacks in your career as an All Blacks, in the All Blacks. But what has been the biggest lesson during your time with the ABs?
Yeah, it was a journey. Like obviously. It's everything you wanna do while you're a young kid. You want to play for the All Blacks, and to be there, to be in that team with the caliber of players that were in that team. I think like one of my biggest lessons was that like obviously everyone's a leader, but you just got to lead in your own way. Don't try to overachieve. Just do our job and just be happy where you are and the job that you've been given. Sometimes you have a big load, and sometimes you have a little load, but you just you appreciate whatever you get. So yeah.
Can you just, for people who don't know, what is the caliber of the players that you played with? Can you name off some names? Because some legends, bro.
Legends.
Yeah, I think, man, like Kevin Mealamu, like Tony Woodcock, Ken Reid, Richard McCaw, Sam Wylock and Guzzler. Like, that's just the forward pack. You had Mata, Conrad Smith, Dan Carter, Aaron Smith. Oh man, it's just Ben Smith. Like, you just heaps of talent, heaps of battlers, but just good men, good, awesome men. So,
Man, there's some names. Oh man, jeez. Because I'm hard All Blacks fan, man. Just having another All Black on or join us at the table is just, I just love it. I got a lot of admiration and appreciation for you guys who put on the black jersey. And so, can you describe for us? Because people, and I don't know, not too sure if you've shared with anyone else, but the moment you put on their black jersey, the moment you sing their national anthem and you do the haka, describe for us, how was that for you? Their whole feeling.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It is like the part that obviously when you get the jersey, it's awesome. Like just that when they give you the jersey, obviously it's your first one. That's a massive experience as well. Like everyone comes in, there's a big speech just about you. They just tell you, mate, you don't need to do anything but what you do week in, week out. The boys will look after you. And obviously, like, you're not an All Black till you cross the line. And that was the biggest moment emotionally, was to just cross that line and start the game. Was it was crazy. It was, it's just your whole life coming through, like the academy, ITM, Super Rugby, all the sacrifices that you would have had to do to get to that point. It all made it worth it.
What would be because I think almost every young kid wants to be an All Black, right? And you highlighted sacrifice. What are those sacrifices that you have to make to stay on that path to becoming an All Black? I mean, and we know the path is quite thin, narrow, but what are those sacrifices that you had to make?
I think, man, everyone, personally, for me, it would be just like, obviously family time, a lot of the celebrations that you get to with your family that you would have, like weddings or birthdays. You can't always make those things because of the what you're trying to achieve and where you're trying to go. I think one of my biggest one in the spring is probably one of the biggest ones right throughout my career, was just like the food that you have to eat and the choices that I had to make. Like if I wanted to try and do this thing, you got to stay away from mum's cooking like most Sundays, and a lot of things like that. Like that for me personally was just stuff like that, just surrounding good people around me, and and just keeping me on track.
Yeah, like you're right. Nutrition's a massive thing, eh? Like, how old were you when you were like, man, I need to learn how to eat clean? And how did you do it? Did someone teach you, or? Yeah,
like once you get into the systems, there's a lot of help. Like nutritionists everywhere. Every club has a nutritionist. It's just if you do it or if you don't, like it's but there's a lot of people there to help you, and it's just you just got to make the right choices.
Is that before you get into it, or do you have to start way earlier?
That's once you're in the teams, but
right.
Out of the teams, I probably just got there on just pure size and talent. Like once you're in the systems look after you, but you're trying to get there, or you're just trying to get through the first door. It's pretty tough, I think.
Yeah, because you said you're trying to get there. There's kind of like the door, your first kind of instance in the All Blacks. But I always think it's quite important to how do you stay there, eh?
Yeah.
And so, can you tell us that, because you were there for quite a long time in that system in the ABs. So, what was the kind of defining point for you to say, no, I'm here, I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna keep showing up?
There's some good questions, man. No, like it was just like our purpose. One thing I really loved about the All Blacks was, and in our time there, was they always had a target that we try to meet. And then, like, obviously as a team, you'll meet your targets. They'll make another target, and you're always just trying to. You're just trying to meet these targets. Like we were trying to be like the best team in the world, best rugby team in the world. We obviously became the best rugby team. Then they were thinking of things like the best sport in the world, like individual players. So we were going up against Serena Williams, Roger Federer, like their win percentage. So we were trying to get on top of these things. So there was always targets that we were trying to achieve, and slowly we were hitting these things. But it was always exciting. It was always new. It wasn't just let's be the best rugby team, and then it gets a bit stale. There was always a purpose, and we were trying to be the best of the best that there ever was. So yeah.
Is it fair to say that the team that you were in potentially was one of the greatest rugby teams, I think, of all time? Is that a fair statement? I mean, it's in discussion.
It was a very good. Like it was.
They be humble. They be humble. Challenges. Yeah, we're the best.
You guys were stacked.
I think like it was just there was like the depth, even the depth. Like they talk about the bomb squad and the South African team. Like our team, like you had like awesome rugby players on the bench. You had Bowden Barrett sitting on the bench, like Victor Vito was sitting on the bench. Dan Coles was on the bench. Like you had all these awesome players, but they were on the bench. But what they really, what made the team really was awesome is like even if you're on the bench, they embraced that role. Like we had to go on, add energy, lift the boys, just bring that last 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And our team was known for we'll be behind and we'll just last 5 minutes we'll come back and we'll just grind people down, and that's what we're really known for back then. So
And I love what you just said, that they make you try and be better than those individual athletes, which I think for me when I hear that, I we see the All Blacks as a collective, but the collective is made up of all these individuals. And so you're really just going against yourself every single time, because when you do your best, everyone else, you're contributing to the collective best. And so I think for me, I want to know, like, what has driven you to keep pushing? Because I think sometimes we think, oh yeah, I've hit like a level, I've grown, I've reached a new height. And then I think some people think that's it. But what I'm hearing from you is not. It's just one level to the next level. And so in order for you to do that, you're right, there is a system in place. But for an individual to allow, a system to push them as much as they do, like what has allowed, there's got to be a deeper drive. Everyone who's been on that team would have a deeper drive. So what's yours?
Oh, it would probably definitely be the family, just trying to provide for family, trying to provide a better future for the family. Obviously, when you play this game, you never know how long your career is. Just giving the next generations and generations after a better opportunity at life, and that's probably the big overall. Obviously, like for me personally, it's fun. It's what we grow up to do, and we love it in the moment. But I think the bigger picture is we want to look after our family, and that's our biggest thing. So
yeah, because you mentioned earlier that when you see grandparents, were they your parents or Shell's parents? You talking about grandparents looking after your children.
Oh, so that's my mum and
your
dad.
parents. Yeah. So who, like as Pacific people, we represent our family, our ainga. So who is your family? Like, where you've rooted, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, obviously, my dad's from Lefanga Ngifo, so they're way back there. So my mum's from Vaimoso, so yeah, a little bit closer to the city. But now my mum and dad's all retired now. They've built their house in Samoa, so they come back and forth from New Zealand, Samoa. But then obviously my wife has her parents as well, so. They're from Salofaka and Awhenga. I hope that's right.
You're gonna get in trouble.
You'll find out if your wife is wrong.
So when you come out of the airport, your family's to the left. Where her village is? On the same
on the left.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just keep probably halfway down from airport to
city.
I think it is. But I'm left, and you take a right all the way back, and that's where my dad's mum or grandparents are, and that's we grew up a lot more with my dad's side, so
cool.
Yeah, that's home. So my grandma's still there, so she's almost 90, and she's going strong. She's awesome.
Yeah, she must pray for you hard out. Must have been praying at every game.
Yeah, no, she's been awesome. She's always there, always. when I get the videos or something, she always watches the games in Samoa on the TV. So she's pretty happy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. And how were they when you got capped?
Yeah, they were happy for me to be in the All Blacks. I think they were more happy that I was in the Samoan team than
Really?
Yeah. I think it's just, and you can see it from when I played in the Samoan team and the local boys, how much it means to them to be in the Samoan team. Because obviously that's all they see over here. All we see is the ABs. That's all we want to be. To them, and that, like my mum and dad's and their generations and my grandma's generations, they all they saw was Samoa. Like, so when I had an opportunity to play for them, yeah, there was a lot more smiles there than when I had the
Really?
Yeah.
How did that feel for you? You know, because you played for the All Blacks, it was like the epitome of rugby, pretty much. Now playing for Samoa for your roots, but was there a difference?
Oh, it's probably night and day the difference. It's there was a lot more emotional attachment to playing for Samoa because you knew what it meant, like where they come from, what the struggle's been like. But what New Zealand and Samoa get is Samoa get bugger all. To be fair, we struggle finance wise. Like there's just they're not funded as well as New Zealand. New Zealand get everything. Not to say that New Zealand don't deserve what they get. It's just, man, there's like food, snacks, everything, trainers, recovery, better flights. You're towards the front of the plane, whereas Samoa you're at the back. You're just you're on the go with Samoa. It's tough, but it was an awesome experience. Rugby was rugby, but man, the emotional the emotional side that felt a lot more than probably playing for the ABs, just because you knew how much it meant to your parents and your family, and that's where we're from. So
It's cool.
Because it's just that pride, the Samoan pride. You know, there's nothing. It's like you're saying. You just said, hey, sometimes the difference night and day. The ABs might get all of this, and then there's the smaller, the minnow teams don't get much, like you were saying. But it feels like you play for pride for the nation, but also pride for your culture, pride for your identity, and also your ahinga.
Yeah.
And so in terms of the pride, did it kind of lift the level in terms of your playing, or was it just another game, but the intensity is still the same? Or did you feel like because of Samoa, that something was totally different in this time representing and playing for Samoa?
I always think like like in the ABs or in New Zealand generally, like it's a lot more process driven. Like if we do if everyone does their job, the chances of success is a lot more higher. Like, and you watch teams like Italy in soccer or Argentina, like in rugby, and you watch those boys, and they sing their anthem. And it's the same as Samoa. Like they wear that jersey, like it's the last time they're ever going to wear it again. Like. And that's how they play. Like that's how us boys play. Like we put everything on the line. Like doesn't matter if they just turned up that week, had 2 trainings, and we were playing like a massive team. They would fight. Like they would give everything to get that win. It's just obviously when you play over a season of 10 games, it becomes harder and harder to get up to that level week in, week out when you're not getting results, I think. So that's always tough on that part. But yeah, they just play with so much passion. Obviously that's why you see on defence they put their body on the line and they leave everything out there. But it's a lot more little things that we have to develop as like skill sets, little detailed stuff that we have to get better at to make the overall thing better. So.
Do you think it's a lack of resources for Samoa to be at that level, to be at that, like, is it just not enough people, not enough money, funding to go into it? Yeah,
it's just that, like, obviously, the more money you get, the more specialty or the more specialised people you get to look after your team. And I think that's what it just comes down to. You can see it, like, I think you look at England, they probably have like 50 staff that travel with them around the world. to game. Like if they come to New Zealand, they got 50 people. You look in New Zealand probably got like 20 odd, 30 odd. Samoa's got like 8, 5. You know, it's not. It's just funding, man. It's just funding. Yeah. You have to have, like, obviously, if you're successful, the more money you get, the more opportunities you get to have more people. But if you can't get the big games, you don't get the funding. So,
wow. So it's really the skill set that the skill development, that is needed to maybe elevate the Samoan team a bit more.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair to say. Yeah,
because we got heart.
Yeah,
we got Ake.
Yeah,
we got heart, but it's more having the system in place and the support in place, which kind of poses a question. Argentina are really doing well at the moment.
They're awesome.
Oh, they beat the
What
Box.
is there?
Yeah.
I know, and they beat those guys, and they're looking really, really amazing. I'm wondering what their system's like. I can't imagine that it's as well resourced as the. Because what do you think is what do you think is happening for them? Because they're really showing up.
I don't personally, like, obviously their players are all playing in good competitions. They're playing in top 14. They're playing in the Premiership in England. A lot more of their players are playing in really, really big games. So the more players you can get into big games, the more experience you get in those games. That you bring that back into your team. There's a lot more people that are calm. Nothing like something happens, a yellow card comes out, they're not flustered. They just, okay, we've dealt with this before. We'll continue and we'll just keep working hard till we get them back on. So all that kind of stuff, like experience. But yeah, I don't know. Like for them to get over South Africa was pretty. I hope. I always say, like, if there's a team that's always I would like to win, I would always have the South Africans, because they're a lot like us. Like, we have an awesome rivalry with those boys. But Argentina too, those boys are awesome. So, man, I don't mind if Argentina won. It'll be change it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, eh? Oh, it's awesome.
I heard the South Africans were similar, weren't they? Like, they prefer the All Blacks to win, so long as they don't beat them when they play.
That's right. Yeah, well, a lot of the Saffers, they always support us as well. So
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. I like that. You talk about obviously the physicality of the game also, and I know rugby is a physically demanding sport, but I'm talking also in terms of mental toughness. Also, mental toughness is a big part of the game, and so just if you can tell us, how did you manage the mental pressures of being an All Black, and the expectations as well? So
Yeah, I don't know. I was always like a little bit different, eh? Like, I kind of just, I never like, one thing I've learned over the time, but I didn't know at the time, is just like, if you don't live in the highs and you don't live in the lows and you just kind of sit in the middle, like when you get the high game, like all those, you have an awesome game, and then I would always just sit in the middle. I'd just be real casual. Oh yeah, it was a good game. I'll just, as long as I go catch up my mates, I'm happy. Like, and then the low games, like I'll probably have a bad game, but I wouldn't think too much of it. I'll be like, man, if I couldn't fix it within the 80 minutes, there's no more point of me thinking about it now after the game. Like, I'll go back on Monday and I'll sort it out and we'll try and get better for the next game. So I just always kind of just sat in the middle, like the expectation, like to stay in. I don't think I was in there too long. I think I was there 6 years. It is an intense environment. Like, our supporters are relentless. You know, like,
just give it to them. Tell them. There's couch coaches.
Yeah.
There's couch coaches.
Yeah, like they're just so used to winning. Like, there's no. They like the game when it's close, but it's close and we win.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't give. Yeah, some of the comments you see on the boys' Insta is probably why I stay away from all the social medias back then. Was it gets pretty some real confident people out there to say something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but and you're not even kidding, Charlie. I've seen some of the comments like, man, this is a bit harsh. Some of these guys, I can guarantee you never played a game of rugby at all. But in terms of the All Blacks, and it'll be cool to get your insights also. And you see some obviously Razors taking the reins now. You see them a close game against Australia a weekend ago. What do you think? And people have said some of the comments. Oh, the mental toughness. These guys can't finish off the games. The last 20 minutes, even the guys on the bench, they can't. They're just something's not working. What are you saying? Do you think it's mental toughness, or do you see otherwise?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's mental toughness. Like to get to where they are, man, they've played enough big games. That group has probably played enough big games. Sorry, to know how to close out a game, and I think it's just maybe it's the culture's not bang on, or maybe everyone's a bit gun shy, like they're not putting it all out there, or in regards to like the team, like they're not. I don't know, like it's hard to speak about another team, like, and it's not my team, like, or I'm not in that team, but it's I don't know. I think just when the ABs are clicking, it's not just like on field stuff. It's off field. They're like real tight. But I see some of the boys' socials, and they're always together. They're always they're making sure that they're connecting off the field as well. So personally, I wouldn't know what is wrong with at the moment with the team. Maybe it's just everyone's scared of Razor, that they're not putting their best foot forward. They're on edge a little bit, maybe. So
Is there a chance that just the competition is so good, like that these other teams have come in for whatever reason, that everyone else is just getting way better at rugby?
Oh yeah, I think it's more that. Yeah, I think it's definitely more that. And like being on that side of the world and up north, I think it's up north. Yeah. Up north, you can see how much better they've got in like France. Like how much, man, they have top 14, they have a Pro D 16, and then they have another maybe 5 or 6 teams. They got 3 competitions there, like maybe even 4 if you just have like and you get paid in the 4th level. Like there's they're creating depth and competition. They're playing in these big games. Obviously, playing like the European competitions where all the teams come together. Best 6 from each union come together, and they play off to see who's the champions. And it's these guys are playing more and more regular big games. Big moments. So they're getting used to this. Whereas I think our Super Rugby competitions kind of, since we lost South Africa, it's really one-sided. It's just New Zealand just dominating, and it's not quite enough competition because you get different style of play everywhere else, and we're just not used to all this new way of you know what I mean, like the way they play the game. So
Yeah.
Games evolving. I mean, even the rule changes. What's your take on the rule changes? Because I know there's been heaps of
rules,
changes from the ones they used to use.
yeah, I don't know. They're always trying to find an edge to make our game better, but I don't know. I don't know if those guys are the guys that played rugby, or they just they just look after our rugby committee now. Like, to be fair, I wouldn't have a clue. Like, it seems a bit weird, and it's probably one of the things that it makes people not come to rugby because it's forever changing, and there's so many rules in the ruck that if someone was new coming to watch the game, they wouldn't have a clue what was wrong with or why they gave a penalty the other way. Like, the understanding of our game is getting harder and harder. Like, whereas you watch league, it's pretty basic. It's just you get six turns, and if you can't, then it's the other team's turn. It's pretty basic. Like, if you have a knock on and a forward pass by that, it's those are only like faults in the game, whereas ours has got falling over, hands on the ground. There's just a lot of rules.
It's become too technical, so to speak. But you're right. I like that you mentioned that, because it seems like now, like you got NRL. NRL is obviously Australia. We got the Wars, the Warriors. Yeah. But you see the stadium just packed. It's packed. Every game, home game is packed. You see the NRL people all of a sudden just following. Wow, man, the league. And then you look at the games, even our home games, because I'm a Blues man, Blues diehard fan. And then I can see the crowd, and I was like, well, where's everyone, man? So maybe you can tell us, Charlie, because what's happening with why our people on our shores not kind of supporting the game, so to speak? What's happening? What's your take on that?
I don't know. Obviously, there's like back in the day when they would fill out in Eden Park. Obviously, there's a lot more sports in New Zealand, especially in Auckland. There's a lot more sports that it splits the viewership. But yeah, man, I played at a club in Toulouse, and it would be snowing, it would be raining. 40,000 people would rock up to a game. And they'd be there 2 hours before the game, just socialising, having a few beers, drinking, or having like the food that they have, the tapas and all that kind of stuff. But the passion and how the loyalty that they have behind the team, it's not the same. Like, obviously we don't know it here in New Zealand, but like seeing that side of the world and how much they like love their rugby, it's just they go through the tough times as well. Like, some teams are like probably at the bottom of the ladder, but they'll have an away game and they'll probably still send 5,000-6,000 people on buses to the away field to watch. And it's just that, like, that loyalty to that team. Like, and I think we lose that a little bit, especially when your team starts to not do so well. Then people stop coming, and it's always good to watch a game on your nice warm couch. So that's probably another thing too. You know, like, we lose a lot of people that way. And I think these like 7:30 games don't suit our supporters. They rather have a afternoon game or a 2:30 game where we can bring the kids along, still nice and warm, and watch a game. So there's lots of little things, but I think our fans have to. Yeah, they just got to rock up and back your team. If that's your team, then you got to be there week in, week out.
Loyal,
man.
Yeah,
Man.
But I think you've shared some really good insights there, because the organisers of the New Zealand rugby, they need to understand the behaviours of our culture here, because we don't want to lose this is our national sport. It's always been there, and I think if we're changing because of the way society is, they need to know that, and then they need to sort of schedule things so that we can bring those numbers back in.
Yeah, I think they definitely. I think obviously TV pays the bill, and they have the they pay the bill. So obviously there's the prime time TV for them, because obviously you got to have all the other sports fit in, and 7 o'clock is 7:30 is probably the prime time for rugby to try and get as many viewership on the TVs. But it means that they're on TV and we're not watching at the stand. So
yeah.
Do you find that outside of New Zealand, All Blacks are like gold?
Oh, they're
Ravished.
With the brand of
Man, it sucks, when you come home and then it's like, the All Blacks. But when you go overseas, it's like you guys are gold. Yeah, like
it's a massive backing. I think like we're one of the best, or the All Blacks are one of the best selling jerseys year in, year out. Like, across all sports.
Even this year's design. I was kidding.
So yeah, like there's so many people that love All Blacks. Obviously the Haka makes them stand out from everyone else. Their success over the years made them stand out. Like, I think everyone just loves what the All Blacks are about. They're good people. They interact with their fans here and there, but it is tough.
Yeah.
Well, what was it like touring with the All Blacks at that time? Going to different countries? Did you guys go out? Maybe go to bars, wherever, go to streets? Like, mingle with the people of the... And then, did they revere you? Like, did you walk past and people were like, it's the All Blacks?
All the fans, each other. Calling out your name.
All the girls.
It's probably all like Dan. Dan Carter. We had all the big boys, man. So you just stand behind. Like, if everyone was coming asking for signatures, you just stand behind Dan Carter, and then he'll take this whole bunch, and then we'll just sneak through. But it is, man. A lot of the times we would have dinners, but it would all be private, and they'll just push us to one side. It'll get too hectic if people found out that those big boys are around, and then you wouldn't have a dinner. You'd just be up taking photos and doing signatures all night,
I'd imagine.
Just the fans, all these fans, Charlie.
Us boys up front, man, we don't get as many fans.
Because you guys are on the grind most of the game. God, you guys do an amazing job.
Have you ever had any of those interactions, just even by yourself, randomly in the world, walking around like, hey, you Charlie from... can I get your samples?
You can see every day, man.
Oh yeah, you always run into people. It's always cool too. Like especially me coming back now, and I've been away for about 7 years, and you get a lot of these old men like, hey, name Faumuina, and I'm like, I love that. Like when you used to play back at the Blues or back in the ABs, but it's just it's awesome. like for me, like I've been away, but they still remember what I did in the jersey or what I did in the community or something like that. And
cool, man.
you know, so it's always heartwarming. Like people still remember you, but yeah, that's just, I guess it's all part and parcel of the game. You know, you just gotta, if you want to play rugby, you got to get used to all that kind of having half your meal and then stand up and take a photo and
signing autographs. Yeah, because I saw you walking past it the other day and I was beeped the horn, Charlie, and I saw you like.
I don't know if it was for a good reason.
It was you turned you said early on that sometimes the rugby career can be relatively short, and so also what was the biggest challenge, or what was some of the biggest challenges in terms of transitioning out of professional rugby for you? What did you, in terms of not in the game anymore? What was it like for you? Like I'm not playing anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I probably miss from a team environment is like the camaraderie that we have with the boys, like being able to, you know, like go to work with each other, talk smack with each other, have that time, play cards, have coffees. Like I miss that part, like that. I don't miss the trainings and the meetings and even the game time. It's just I love playing, but it's professionally it just takes a toll. But I miss that part, and obviously when you finish, it's all that stuff just goes. Like you don't have you go and catch up with your mates, but it's when you're in a team environment, like that's our 9 to 5. We're always around people, interacting with people, or people that are like us that joke and muck around, and coming out of that environment, and you're just by yourself. And I ended up trying to get a job. I ended up having a job because I had to try and get a bit of routine. But it is a bit of a struggle. But obviously you just got to keep talking, and especially with the guys that have been here maybe 2-3 years, and just see the things that they go through. Just have if you get a little bit of advice to help you reintegrate back into the real world.
Because I can imagine, like we said early on, the autographs, people recognizing you, and you always, obviously you're on the big screen, people know who you are in the public, even if they scrutinize you, whatever. But I can imagine once it's done, your career, you kind of finish, retire, and it must be. And I heard some other athletes or other professional athletes say, "Man, this is hard because I'm so used to on the go, or I'm so used to the media and all that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden it's gone. It can be quite quiet, and so." For you mentally, was like, what was it? Just like, okay, once it's done, it's finished, and just move on, or was it just like, man, I kind of missed that?
Yeah. Oh man, I definitely. There are things you miss too, like some of the privileges that you get from being a rugby player. Like you just go to the bank, or you go to the to get your car fixed or something. They're like, oh yeah, come through, and you get fast tracked a lot more. Like that's just part and parcel of like rugby. Like when you finish rugby, man, it's all like obviously we've finished rugby now, and all my boys are saying like once you finish rugby, the banks don't know you, they don't want to know you anymore. They just say no, you got no more income. It's we can't help you anymore for whatever reason it is. Wow, and it was, man, like doesn't matter how many houses or properties you have, they're just like, nah, you got no income, we can't help you. And I was like, bro, it's just pretty ruthless, eh? Like, it is what it is, part of the rules and stuff, but I just didn't think, I just thought, oh no, we'll be right, come back, boom. I think like, it's all got to start from scratch again. So it is a bit of a learning, probably something that I'll pass on to the boys that do end up finishing soon, because there's a lot of stories with guys with depression and kind of things that they go through. So, and it's just all, learnings.
Are there programs in place now to kind of help transition or kind of set people up? Or because I know people help you sort of set up in regards to the investment side, but then it's that ongoing income, eh?
Yeah.
And kind of keeping that going, or just extending your rugby career, maybe not on the field, but off the field. Like, I just wonder if there's those kind of transition programs in place to kind of, assist people to move or glide through that.
Yeah, I think there is like there's a certain like in like the Players Association there's a department that help our boys transition, but I just don't think they're quite funded enough, I guess. Like, and there's just so many boys. Like, you think of, like all the boys that have come from NZ overseas, the boys that finish in NZ, and then the boys coming back from overshore. There's just a lot of boys like Samoan, Fijian boys. That even some of them that just went straight to like France, all finishing up. They're all going through struggles. Like it's, you can see how bad it can get if you haven't prepared well for after rugby. So, yeah.
Do you ever miss the contact?
The
contact in rugby and like just the physical contact, the brutal like play.
Oh,
or not?
Yeah, no. I love that side when I did play. Like it's, everyone always thought I loved to attack because I had good feet. Like I could shimmy here and there, but
Shimmy.
I love the defensive side. That's the way I love to bring the Charlie that to the game that I thought was important. So yeah, you definitely. And I know that's what I always love to play the Saffers, because those boys always run it straight to you. Like they love that challenge too. And I was like, yeah, man, let's go. Like it's easier for me. Whereas if trying to like play against the Aussies, they always step in and they run as a pack, and it's not as it's a lot more harder to get those boys down, and you got to run more. Whereas the Saffers just run straight. So I always love that part.
But you're not kidding about in terms of your footwork. Obviously, Pat Lam. I remember Pat Lam. Pat Lam mentioned you as a coach. He said, "Man, for a guy your size, big unit, but your footwork was immaculate." I remember him saying that. I said, "Man, this guy can move. Beautiful footwork." And so, where's that? Where's that from? Is it something just that you just innate ability that you have, or it's just like, man, you just practice the footwork, the stepping?
Are you a dancer?
Or dancing? I don't know. Were you a break dancer? Or
I think obviously when you're young and you're playing touch, and there's plenty of parks here in Auckland and South Auckland anyway, where you can just go and play, and everyone back then you want to be Carlos Spencer and everyone those environments, and those environments like where you can just play, you can do those things, and I would always back myself to try and do these things that a person my size couldn't. But once I got into the system, old Kevin Mialamu, he was pretty good with his feet too, so I'd always just go and do my skill sessions with him, and would both try to just get better at that. And I think it definitely helped my game being around a guy like him. So yeah,
that's cool,
man. That's awesome.
Speaking of like skill sessions, because you played prop back in the days, what skills should people who are wanting to be an All Black prop, what skills should they be trying to learn on? What exercises, what sort of routine type stuff could they do? Core park.
Yeah, I think probably the scrummaging is probably your biggest. It's going to set you apart. That's probably the biggest thing. You got to try and get better at scrummaging, and then obviously just your general fitness and stuff like that. But I'm always, I like to think that I was a prop that brought like the physical side. So trying to bring that side too, because most of the time when you look at a team, the props are some of the biggest boys on the team. Yeah. You want to be, you want to bring that side to the game as well, like your physical presence. When you carry, you make them hurt. When you tackle, they feel you tackle them, and then you hope there's some other fella that's twice as fit as you just covers you every now and then. But, to be fair, I think most of my time growing up in the systems, there was always a fit fella, and then they had me, so kind of just evened out. So I'd always carry, and he would always just go to every rock that I kind of missed. So yeah.
Is that, when you talked about the professional toll, is that also the physical toll, the emotional toll, the sort of like cognitive, like there's, what was that? Is that, because I can imagine the impact on your bodies, like when you're watching it, you don't really think too much about it until you actually really watch, and you're like, man, those are some pretty big hits. So how do you, how long can you sustain that for?
Oh, I think that's an individual. Like everyone's different. Obviously, I carried a bit more protection than most other guys. Man, I loved it. It does take a toll, and it does. It takes a toll. But I think in my position, you always had someone on the bench that would end up coming on for you. Like you had a specialist come on for you. So you see now most props are just doing like 40, 50 minutes a game. Whereas if you have a loose forward, most of the time they're doing 80 and they're coming on. So you've got one loosey coming on between the three of them. So you don't know who's coming off and the likelihood you're going to play 80. So those guys are playing 80. So once they play 3 games, that's our 5 games, 6 games maybe, and they've played 3. Just in like with all the 80 minutes they play and we play 45, 50. So that's probably definitely helped me when I was overseas. Like my body wasn't too bad. When you see some of the boys now and you see their knees and they're like struggling with their hips and stuff, you're like, oof.
Yeah.
But most of the time they play in the backs and loose forwards, so they're playing 80 minutes most weeks.
Because that's the other part of retirement as well, is not only the transition off from being professional to now trying to figure out this new life, but it's also your body's taken so much that you also, you forget that you've now got this, I don't know, like a body that's been used quite a bit. Trying to be kind here.
Maintenance.
And even that, like people don't prepare you for that. We all kind of go, we want to be this top athlete, but then you do what you do, and then it comes to an end, and then you've got all the stuff that you've got to try and hold together. And so, like with that and what you said earlier, like how do you prepare people who are eagerly trying to become a All Black? Because some people think, cool, I'm in, and they don't always prepare for the end point. And like you said earlier, it's not always it's not a long career.
Yeah. It's
quite a short career, and for some even shorter. I mean, I think I heard that the average was like 3 to 6 seasons.
Yeah, I wouldn't know off the top of my head, but I think it would be like, I played 16 years, and I'm truly blessed to have played 16, 17 years. Like, there's not many guys that get over 10. Like, that's for sure. Like, just with injuries and some of the bad injuries, like just continuous knees or continuous shoulder problems, surgeries. So guys don't make it to see a 10 years, like definitely. So yeah, it's hard to. I guess it depends on your why, like how hard do you want to go and how hard do you want to push this. Obviously, you're always thinking about the now and the near future of when you achieve your goals. But no one really thinks about after you finish, and that's when you start. You play for, say, 10 years, but we've got another 40, 50 years to go, and that same body's got to take you that whole 50, in the moment, like, obviously everyone just wants to play, and the afterthought is the afterthought, we'll deal with it when we get there, and it is hard, but I wouldn't change anything about my career and what I've done, so...
It's a long time. God, man, that's that's such a blessing.
Yeah.
And I think, because you talked earlier about about nutrition, and this is the whole prep towards becoming, the goals that you had. But then the toll that it takes, the injuries that everyone needs to expect that, right? And I don't think people are prepared for that. But what is that? Like, how do you recover? How do you recover? How do you sustain your physical well-being so that you can play as long as you can?
Is it like massages and that? Or?
Yeah, like I think, it's like you'll have the best people, physio doctors around you. Like, they get you straight into surgeries to see the surgeon like the next day. Like, if you're in the public list, you could be there for months. These guys get you straight in, and they'll definitely look after you when you're in the system. But it's I guess for your point about how they keep going after, like, I guess multiple injuries, and like we were saying, the why. There's people there that help you mentally prepare, give you a game plan for your recovery, and then whether you continue, it's up to you. Like,
yeah. What if you don't have those in place? Like, if you don't have the specialists, and you don't have, and I'm thinking about the Samoan team who, have their big break. And I love how you've just described the meaning when you put on that jersey, but they don't have the resources and they want to sustain their own careers. What could they do if they don't have those kind of interventions?
Man, I wouldn't know. Like, that'd be pretty tough.
Yeah.
because you're by yourself the whole time. You don't have the resources that fast track your recovery, I guess. So it's just how much you want to sacrifice, because obviously you'll be away, you wouldn't be working, you'd just be trying to go to a gym to do your recovery with a physio. Obviously the physio costs money to have sessions with him. It just depends on how much you want it, how young you are, and whether you've got into the system or not. It's tough. I'm always about try and get our kids. Obviously, you want to play to have fun, but try and do the fundamentals well first. That sets you up for the big rocks. If you jump to the big rocks and you start to hit some of these roadblocks, I guess, then you're not going to be very well prepared for when those things come. So yeah, I don't know. It is definitely tough. Yeah.
What are the fundamentals?
I think just looking after your body, like doing the rehab, or not rehab, but prehab, the stuff you do before. Like obviously knees, shoulders are a big problem, and like there's a lot of big problems in rugby and league. There should be you should be just focusing on making those nice and strong. Like obviously when you're in a game and you're under pressure, you're not thinking. You just say, okay, I want to do a step here. Whether your body can take those certain forces, that's the kind of things that you got to try and prepare for before it comes, I guess.
So there needs to be a real awareness, of your own body, your own hauora. Like you need to be really familiar with your engine so that you can look after it. And I don't think we teach that enough.
No, I don't think so too.
We don't teach that enough, and it needs to start at a young age, because great when you have a system, but if for those who are maybe just starting off, those fundamentals, I think, are important now when they're just sort of gearing up for that.
Because we haven't touched on that, Charlie. Obviously, you finished playing rugby, but what are you doing now in terms of? Are you involved in mentoring or coaching or some sort of community initiative? Are you doing? What are you doing now?
No, to be fair, mate, I'm not doing anything at the moment. So we're just me and the wife, just trying to take our time and just think of what we're going to do in this next chapter of our lives.
Cool.
Obviously, rugby's taken a long time, and obviously, to be fair to my wife, she's followed me and sacrificed her dreams and all the things that she probably wanted to do in her life. So yeah, it'd be good to give back or work together to find something that she's passionate about and just work towards that. So and then see where it goes.
Cool.
But at the moment, definitely open to mentoring and doing a bit of coaching. But I think once we get something sorted for us, then we're definitely open to all that kind of stuff. Because I think it's important to hear from people that have been there and give a little bit of a life experience to these kids coming through. So definitely always keen to help.
Bro, you add so much values. Man, hard out, bro. Yeah, you're looking for co-hosting as well? You want to My man.
Or even the parents.
Whatever.
I think parents need a bit of help, especially because they think they know the sport and they don't. No, I was kidding.
I haven't. You definitely hear stories about some parents, and this is my first year I actually coach my kids.
Those.
Which club they play?
They're at Papatoe Rugby Club, but
cool.
you definitely see some passionate parents and vocal supporting. So, man, it's just their love for their kids, and sometimes it gets a bit too personal, or a bit loud, but that's just what it is, though.
As long as it's just getting loud, not physical.
No, physical, yeah, man.
Because I love it right at the beginning when you said, I love right at your intro. You said, "Don't overachieve." That was quite profound. You said, when you're playing the game, it's not about overachieving. And then you also described just your kind of temperament. Your temperament is when things are up, you just are in the middle. I really love that. And where does that come from? Because you're right. There's some people who have a win and then they stay in that win for weeks, and you're like, hey, let's move on. Or the opposite, something happens and they stay there for a long time, and you're like, okay. I mean, you want to understand them, but at the same time. But I love how you're just in the middle, and I loved how you explained that you're in the middle because yeah, okay, game over, move on. Like, let's just move on because there's another challenge awaiting around the corner.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Because I think that's such a awesome place to be, is just there. Like where you are with your wife at the moment, you've just come back from France, so you're just sitting here, like just gauging, getting ready to just. I love your temperament. Where does that come from?
It's real calm, mate. Real calm. Cool,
I know, it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's like a sniper.
I don't know where I get it from, but yeah, you could. If you ever talk to my wife, she'll probably be, mate, he's the calmest dude ever. Like, I just go with the flow. I'm not too. Just whatever happens. You know, it's timing and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think I've just been in around professional environments for a long time that you just learn as you learn from some of the boys that kind of did it before you. And yeah, there's no doubt that when you do have those big games, you probably have you sit in it maybe a little bit longer, but I don't know. I never understood why guys would be so sad and so happy when in those moments. It was just, I don't know it's just how I grew up, and my wife calls me a robot. I have no emotions, and that's just, and to be fair, that's how it is, you know, like that's just how I am, and I'm not too fazed by most things. If it doesn't affect me, I just let it go. Like.
It's cool, man. It's just a game, mate. It's just a game. It's just a game, man.
It is. For me, it was just a game, but to some guys, that was their life. And you know, like everyone prepares differently, everyone trains differently. You just got to understand them and respect their space and let them do what they need to do. Some guys had to warm up and they'll be in there just doing shuttles in front of me, and I'm just like. Just
calm down, man. Calm down.
Mate, it doesn't take me long to warm up, so I was like save my energy just till 3 minutes before I had to go out for team training, and I'll just wander out and start warming up with the boys. And yeah, but some guys had to do a warm up for 15, 20 minutes before they even got out. So I was like, man, you guys got too much energy, man.
Yeah, because you can use some of that, eh?
Oh.
And then you've got the Haka, and the Haka takes quite a bit of energy too. Like how effective is? I mean, I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day, and I was like, you know, the Haka's about the wairoa and blah 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 blah. Like I'm sure, like this is what gets them all in that mode. And he's like, no, on YouTube, they were saying that it actually drains you. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask you, what does the Haka do for you just before a game?
When the guy come in, I think his name was. I won't say his name because I'll probably get it wrong. But when he came in and to speak about the Haka isn't about trying to make the other team scared or laying the challenge. It's about us connecting together through our movements and through the ground and through whatever, like, and that's making us connect together, like with our actions. And that's preparing us to play. Like that was my understanding from the Haka. Obviously, it is a challenge in a way, but for us personally, it's just for us to connect together before we go into battle. And it's nothing ever to do with them and versus us. It's just about us. And I remember when I was playing first 15 and we were doing our Haka before the game. And obviously I was probably one of the main ball carriers in our team. But there was so much emotion going into this game that after I did the Haka, man, I was gone. I was drained, man. And from that point on, I said, man, if I ever do a Haka again, that I can't let so many emotions come inside me or let the moment overtake me. So from that point on, I learned from an early age that I got to do when I do the Haka, it's just about us connecting together. And then we go to play.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's good.
That's so insightful, because I can imagine if you're doing the Haka to whaawhiwhi or scare the other team, it's going to take a lot of energy. But just what you described there, if you're doing the Haka to ground yourself, to connect with your team, and like as Pasifika and Māori people, we are connected to the ground. Yeah. And there's a lot of energy as Pasifika and Māori people that we get when we fully understand what we're standing on. And I think how you've described it is it conserves a lot more energy as well if you're doing it for that reason, as opposed to trying to scare the other team. Because remember that year when the England team did that thing, and they did the arrow thing, and I think that's where we were sort of coming from is, oh, maybe it's because they did the V thing that kind of put the All Blacks off in that game. But my brother-in-law was like, nah, it wasn't.
Nah.
Was the ref?
I was a TMO. It was a TMO.
No, but I love your explanation of that. Thank you for that.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, I hope it's right because
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It absolutely makes sense to do it in that capacity instead of trying to scare or challenge or
Giving your energy to them.
And you're right. You're giving energy away.
I think it goes for them too. Like how they see the haka. If they see it as a threat, then that zaps their energy. Like they're giving energy to something that's not there, and then they lose their focus in the game. We're big on, like when I was in ABs, they're big on taking focus away from the game on certain players or whoever you can get that's loves to bite. You know, like if you niggle someone or you get into someone and they react and then they lose focus on the game, we love getting into those players because if they lose focus on the game, that means he can't be as influential as he normally would be in the game because he wants to come and make a big tackle on us or he's getting angry, the ref isn't doing anything, so he's off this game. And we always had there's some guys that just love or that it is easily to switch. I always think about Dane Coles. You know Dane Coles, he's a good man, but he's probably one of the fastest guys to switch. If you got a little bit of niggle into him, he would be, let's go. And he would lose his cool real fast. And some guys around the world are like that. Like, so you just try to fast track it with, he'll go in one time, I'll go in another time, and everyone just tries to get people off their game. And that's all it is. It's mentally. You're just trying to stay in the moment. Each moment in the game, you're just trying to do your job.
That's good, man. That's good because you're trying to psych them out. Psych them out, get them off their game. Yeah. That's so cool.
Was there someone in the All Blacks that was really good at like picking at the other teams?
Yeah, that was probably Dane Coles.
Oh, legit.
Yeah, you see some of the things and I'll be like, the only thing with Dane Coles is sometimes he would take, he would go too far himself and he would lose him. But we had to learn and understand, like when we see our mates in those situations and we're like, hey, you got to get back, you got to come back, like we need you in the game. And he's like, sweet, I'll come back. But he'll be straight back out there niggling someone but it's all part of the game, all part and parcel of the game, so.
Because there's that switch, like there's that switch in that pre-game, you're yourself, you're calm. Who are you on the field? Because like do you switch into the lion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you on the pitch?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of once the whistle goes, it kind of just all changes, or someone cheap shots you, and then you get angry. But I think that's how I kind of started. Like I had to wait till something happened or someone did something to me, then I'll switch on. But as obviously the longer I played, you just understood it was a process. So yeah, once you just build it up from the week or build it up on game day, you just, like most times at 7:30, like when you're on the bus onto the way of the game, you're just slowly turning the volume up. And it's all just a lot of time when I played, even when I played in high school, I'd always visualize things. I would always, okay, in this situation, I'll do this. On this situation at the back of the scrum, I'll score try here. Like, even I'd never happen, but I'd always have positive, just thinking positively. And then in the game, by the time there was kickoff, I was ready to go.
And so you weren't even taught to visualize beforehand. That's just your way of.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's cool.
Once I got to the ABs and they were talking about it's good to visualize, I was like, we're doing that since under 18s. But
you're the man.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Did you do a bit of work with Gilbert and Haka?
Okay, yeah, he was there. Yeah, that guy was really awesome for me.
Yeah.
He pretty much saved me. Like, I could have been just like a one cap All Black or I ended up playing 50 games for the ABs, and just some of the stuff that he did with me off the field. Even like some of the times that I like. One year I was playing for 2 years I was playing Super Rugby. I went back to ITM, and then me and the ITM coach didn't get along very well. I ended up playing like maybe the first game, and then I was cut. I ended up playing the Auckland B team the whole season. I was a Super Rugby player, playing in the Auckland B team for the whole year, and I was playing well. It's just I didn't play the way he liked, but I think he already had a way, like he already saw the way I played, and it wasn't the way he liked to play. But he didn't. And then, to be fair, I didn't embrace the way he played. Like, I thought, no, we've been playing this way with Pat Lam, and now you've come in and you want to play the old school game. And I was like, but Gilbert Enoka was the one that come in. He goes, mate, there's nothing, you can't control any of that stuff, whether he picks you or not. You just got to control your mindset in regards to how you turn up. Is it positive? Are you always putting your hand up, or you just being this like negative? Oh man, he's wrong, I'm right. And then that was probably like another 3-4 weeks. Didn't have a super contract or anything. I just finished the 2-year deal with the Blues, and Pat Lam came to catch up, and he was like, mate, I just need to see you play one game, and I'll take you back for the next 2 years. I was lucky on the last game, someone got injured that I had to go in and play. Played an awesome game, and the coach came up to me after the game. He goes, mate, where's that been all year? And I was like, mate, it's been in the Auckland V's. What are you talking about? Pat Lam said, yeah, no, sweet. Key was there at the game. Mate shook my hand. He goes, sweet, you're there for another 2 years. And I was, but in that time, Gilbert Enoka was the one that kind of changed my mindset, like from being real negative to being like, mate, I can't control anything by how I turn up and the attitude I bring. And from there, I just keep going under Anoka and Mike Cron, the forwards coach, and they just kind of, they did heaps for me. Like,
jeez, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Like, I think he just understands us poly boys, like, where how he showed like all his, because he runs our mental side, and like a lot of stuff that he would show throughout the week. You know how I was saying about the winning percentages and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it would be about animals and stuff like. And when you think about South Africa, what type of animal are they? And he was like, they would be like a bull. Like they see red, they just go straight. They're relentless. They have to be angry to get to that point. Like you think about Australia, they're like hyenas. They just live off your mistakes. But you know, like hyenas only come in when they're
Scavengers,
Sounds about right.
So they only come in when you're making mistakes. They come back alive into the game. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly. We're like the panther. Like he was saying at the time, we're like the Black Panther. We're stealth. We wait for our opportunity to strike, and then we strike. And it's like obviously when the Red Bull or the bull, South Africa, the bull. We had to agitate the ball all the time, so we were always showing that red, like getting into their face, and all these little tricks that just made it so much easier to understand. So we were just like, okay, that's our game plan. We'll go do that this week. So it was like he had a way that, I don't know, man. Like it was just easy to understand, and you see him at New South Wales, and I was like,
oh yeah. So
I heard he was with the football club.
He was helping the New South team.
And which football club in England was he with?
I think he was helping Chelsea. Chelsea? He was helping Chelsea. No, it wasn't Liverpool, it was Chelsea. I think he was helping Chelsea with their mental toughness, so to speak. But you're right. I like Gilbert Enoka. Yeah, man, just amazing. Obviously, you mentioned Gilbert. We mentioned Gilbert Enoka and Pat Lam, and you mentioned earlier on about professionalism. Also, and you've been under some amazing coaches, Charlie. Some amazing coaches. And so I want to ask you, which coach, besides Enoka, but which coach brought the best out of you? And you're like, man, I want to play 100% for this coach.
It'll probably be, when I was in the ABs, probably be Shag. Oh, what do you know his real name? Hansen. Shane Hansen. He just had a way like, he would always understand that I was a big boy that loved my food, and I would always struggle with my weight, and he was just like, I remember one time, I didn't know at the time, and I'd always come into the AB season probably like 2 or 3 kilos a bit higher than normal. And Jerome Kiner was telling me he was in the leadership meeting with all the boys, and this is probably my 4th, 5th year in the ABs. So I'd always be, me and the trainer would always be best mates, and we'll be doing those extras all the time. And he was like, the trainer was like, hey, we've got a problem again. Charlie's a little bit overweight again. Shane Hansen goes, mate, don't worry about him. He's going to be fine. Just give him 2 weeks in our environment. He'll be fine. And he always had, like, when I heard that, I was like, man, this guy always had my back. Like, even like some of the times, the first time I met, you know, like, man, I had to meet, before I was even an All Black, you had to meet all the coaches, and that's pretty, it's pretty nervous. Like, you had Wayne Smith, Graham Henry, Shane Hansen, Mike Cron,
Wow.
and then plus all the managers, all leaders, about like maybe 8 of them. And you're just sitting there by yourself, and he just made and obviously they were asking questions, but I was just being real shy, like, and Shane Hansen always made like jokes. He said like, I love playing cards. He goes, mate, this is just like playing cards with all your mates. We're all here to help you. We just want the best for you. He just made it a lot more comfortable. And I think as a coach, he was hard when he needed to be hard, but he was like a real joker. So he was real witty too. So if you try to have a go at him, he'll come straight back at you. You had to have a few lines in your back pocket to keep coming back at him. So yeah, so no, just I enjoyed that environment. It was definitely an awesome environment, but by the time I finished, it was time to move on, I think. So
He's a good coach, yeah. Shake is an amazing coach, man. But you're right, he's quite witty, eh? He's very witty. Oh, man, that's awesome also.
What was it like, just for the audience and also for us, what was it like being an All Black? Like, how many times did you train a week or a day? I'm guessing the food would have been pretty strenuous, but yeah, what was it like?
Yeah, no, mostly, say if we start on Monday will be like just gym in the mornings and a whole bunch of meetings, heaps of meetings. Like, you got defense, attack, forwards, then mental sometimes. So that's all just back-to-back meetings. Tuesday's your big day, so you got big collective in the morning, team session in the morning, then gym in the afternoon, and in between meetings as well. Wednesday's normally off. Thursday's your big morning, so you got power session, so gym again, power session, then the last team training. And that's fast, like real fast. Then Friday's just your captain's run. So you do like an hour captain's run, or maybe in like 40 minutes, but that's with everything, with the warm-up and our session, and then all the signing stuff that we got to do, and then Saturday's game. And that's all free, bar 11 o'clock you got to do that's our last little line-out session. Backs do their things, and we do our line-out session, and then we're into a game.
It's full on.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's intense. And you think like living in a hotel, you get a lot more free time, but man, there's just so many things. Because in and around that, you got to do promotions. So we got to go to schools and sign stuff. And that's all in and around a week. So you probably do 1 or 2 a week. So after Monday night, after all the meetings, at 6 or something, you're off and you're into the community. And then on Friday's the other slot. So Friday morning, I think you do the other slot. And then, so it is pretty full on. By the time it gets to Wednesday, everyone's like sleeping and massages. They're just, So normally you get like, 2 massages a week. It's normally on a Sunday and a Wednesday. So on the day off, you get a massage, and on Sunday after a game, after the recovery in the morning, then you have a massage again.
Is it like a long massage?
I think it's like normally like an hour.
Oh, me.
An hour? Yeah. These are what you missed. These are the perks you missed.
Definitely missed those.
And what's the build-up like? Because you're talking about game week, but what's it like when you get named on a squad? Or are you named?
Yeah, you're named on Tuesday morning before the first team training. So you start running together as a team for the next 2 sessions. But yeah, you kind of just build it up. I like to leave it to late in the week to build it right up. Some guys build it up straight away and they're into it, they're focused, and you know what I'm saying, like, you just got to respect their space and respect their preparation.
I was have you seen the Man City Netflix series? The Man City football. Sorry, Man City football. The
No, not
soccer.
yet, no.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and one of the midfielders on there, his pre-game sort of routine is Candy Crush.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Candy Crush, and he's a midfielder, and he's probably top 3 in the world for football. But that's his, and there was a lot of people just criticising that was his pre-game routine, and so I was like, I actually find it quite fascinating how unique everyone's routine is, and I liked what you just said. Like yours starts sort of like a few days leading up, and then some guys are just there, and then some guys are just doing doing the cones
shuttles,
or doing shuttles.
Yeah.
Not the other cone. They're doing shuttles. But I find that so, how everyone's just wired different, and everyone does their own thing. And so that's something you have to discover, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to discover.
It's from trial and error. Like everything. To be fair, I'm probably like that midfielder. I'm the same. I like to play whatever games on my phone. A lot of the time, it's the free chess app that's on there. Whenever the kids download something, I like to play it too, because it just takes your mind away from the game. Like for me personally, the more I think about the game, then that's when you other things start to come in. Like your thinking starts to, like doubt starts to come in. The more I just leave it till I walk out and I'm just on the field, then there's no chance for anything to come in. So I'm just sitting there watching these, even if it's just watching them and that's my mind's occupied, then that's fine. But when I'm like just like thinking about, this game, I've got to have a good game, then there's a lot of doubt. Or for me, a lot more things starts to come into your head and you're like, crap. And then you go out and you're second guessing everything. You're not catching the ball. You're thinking about, okay, I'm going to go and bump this dude off, but you haven't caught the ball yet, and then that's when things start to happen. For me, it was. So I like to play. I like to play games, whatever it was. It didn't have to be a certain game. It just had to be something that my mind was on something else. And whether it was on watching these guys run up and down or playing games, that was me.
Well, it makes sense to Charlie,
That's
because
cool.
you can imagine, like you're right, some of the guys are kind of second guessing and they're kind of really intense, they're all tense, and then they start thinking, this could go wrong, whatever. So you added a lot of pressure on yourself, unnecessary pressure. But like you said, you were describing Kevin De Bruyne. He's the midfielder the Man City. And so he does that. He does that until he walks out of the game. Walks out to play the game. So he's probably the last one to get into the game and walking out. But he's one of the best players, man. One of the best players. And so I think that's, I don't know, something similar that you have, man. Just calm, that real calm, collected, and real, just real cool character that you have also.
I think like there's nothing else that you can learn in that change room that you're gonna walk out to. Like if you haven't done your homework and preparation before that, then you're definitely not. You're gonna struggle to have a good game. But if you're trying to like learn your lineouts or learn the game plan in that time, then you've already
Too late, man.
Yeah, it's too late, man.
So did you? So that's sort of how you're calm, you're ready to go. So what's your animal? When you walk into the pitch, are you taking the panther, or what animal are you moving into?
I mean, panther's a pretty good animal, but I don't know. Always like the rhino, just my size, and
Straight up the guts.
straight up the guts.
Man.
Can't move him. Yeah, nice. That's pretty solid.
Probably not as fast as a panther. That's probably why I'm going towards some of the bigger ones.
Oh, that's cool. So, obviously, you're a father now, and so you got 3 kids, is it?
Yeah,
Three kids. And so, what's some of the values and life lessons you hope to pass on? Because you from a rugby perspective, that you hope to pass down to your children, so to speak.
I think, man, just to be good people, to not be afraid to fail. It's probably a big thing that hinders our kids, is that they don't want to be seen as a failure or to do things wrong. So people mock them, or like, if they mock you, they mock you. Like, but at least you tried. And just to be good people, to have fun. Don't take too many things serious. Like my son wants to play rugby, but I was like, just do it because you want to, like, that's the sport you want to do for now. Like, if you want to take it serious, maybe later on, then you got your dad and all your uncles that'll help you, like, learn the game. Like, and I think, to be fair, my daughter doesn't she wouldn't even come to my games towards the end of it. She was over rugby, like, she was just like, no, I want to stay home. But I think she would end up being a rugby player. She's, I think she would be. Just how girls are with their dads. Like, at the moment, she's not, but I think she will be. Once she gets into school and sees all her friends play, she'll end up playing. So
you can kind of see some of that talent in her.
Oh yeah, I think I can see the attitude in her, like, the aggression. She loves. I can see
And she needs an outlet.
I think so. So, man, whatever they do, I don't mind. I'm not I try to not live my dreams through my kids. Like, just if they whatever they wanna do, just try and be the best at it. Whatever it is, the career they go down, whatever they try to they decide to choose. So, me and the wife will always back them. So, yeah,
It's good, man. Good advice as dad.
If you've become an All Black, you can tell your kids you can be anything you want. I mean, that's such a powerful message. I always find that interesting though. Like, a lot of I don't know if this is a general statement, correct me if I'm wrong, but parents who have had a professional athlete career, I kind of see like there's a theme. Like, for them, it's like they just want their kids to find their thing, and there's no pressure or anything like that. Unlike parents who've never had a foot on on a professional field, where the pressure's like hard. Totally different approach, eh? Do you think that's generic?
I think so. I think maybe because the athlete parents know what it's like in those environments. Like, it's not all glory. Yeah, it's not all the good times. It's not all good times, like, you get paid all this money. It's not like that. Like, they know what it's like. They've been there, done it. Like, and to be fair, some of my guys, my mates, were like, they wouldn't let their kids play rugby, or they'd rather them go a different route. And I think it's more so, like, it probably is tough in the 9-to-5 world, but you don't have all these people coming at you on socials that have a lot more effect on people's health. So I think from that point of view, they just understand that side as well. And maybe the people that don't, they don't understand it as much.
Do you reckon that would be one of the things that parents who have that sort of career trying to protect their kids from, or is it also the expectation and the work, because it's over and above in terms of work ethic, eh? Like, a 9-to-5 compared to what you have to do in a normal work day for a professional athlete, not the same, eh? In terms of load, in terms of toll, in terms of expectation. Yes, you've got the social media, but then the mahi that you have to do and the amount of boundary pushing every week that you've got to, like, put yourself through to kind of go, okay, my best was last week, but it might not be enough this week. Yeah. Like that in itself, eh?
Definitely. All those, a lot of things. A lot of things those parents would understand that. And they just want the best for your kids. So and to be fair, like, a lot of kids do follow in their, like, you see a lot more kids like playing rugby as well, like Ironi Clark and Caleb Clyde. Like, there's a lot more sons and daughters coming out that. And some of their parents used to play as well. But I think that's probably just as they probably have an advantage too, because they've grown up in and around that world. They understand what it takes. And you always talk to my kids and they're like, oh, you're going back to training again, Dad, or you're going away again, Dad. Like, they know what it's like, to the sacrifices they got to make. And so, it probably gives them, like, their whole life experience to know what it's kind of... Or to give them a head start into that journey as well. Yeah.
And isn't Caleb Clark doing so well? And that young bucks is Titi.
Yeah, Wallace is Titi.
Oh, man. So good to see this new blood.
And I was out in, on his week off, I think I was playing for Papatoe, and I just rocked up to one of the trainings. He came down, eh? Like, because he's a South Auckland boy, and he was there. And I was like, what are you doing here? He goes, I just come to, because he's a La Salle boy, and all his La Salle boys are there, so they're playing in Pep. So he just come down and jammed with us, and I was like,
Hey, did he actually play the game?
no, not
just
the game,
watch.
just
Train.
trained,
Oh, man.
just trained with us. So I was like,
Is that the extra training that he's
Oh.
doing?
well, that counts as a training. Like, I hit him up
He's the
too,
man,
because
he's the
normally
man.
they give you like GPS things to put on your back to do training sessions. So I was like, oh, is this one of your sessions? And he goes, nah, this is just extra. But
On
he'll
top
do-
of?
on top of his
Ah.
other training. So I was like, oh my man,
Yeah.
he's like, I've only met him that one time, but he sounds like he's got a good head on him, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
right on.
And you need that in those like especially in the ABs. So I think I've only heard good things about Wallace, even from some of the old boys. So I think he's got a good future ahead of him, eh? He's got a good old man to.
Yeah,
show
simple,
the way, yeah.
simple Satiti, yeah. But I heard, you're right, you're absolutely right. Also, I heard he's kind of like leadership kind of material as well. Got a real good head on his shoulders. So bright future for Wallace Satiti. But also, just one more question from me also, because I was just absolutely having you at the table also. But I do want to ask, what do you hope? What do you hope your legacy will be, both on and off the field?
Yeah, on the field, like probably a mentor, someone that people could come to in their time of need, like that I was an open book, that if you had a question to ask, that I hope that I was always made time for people, more so that than anything else that I did on the field part, just making a culture where people could thrive and be themselves and not be, oh no, he's the old fella and I'm the rookie that I don't talk to him, and he's the man. Like I hope, that it's hard to say. Yeah, just to make create an environment where those guys were, themselves and brought the best, their 100% to the team. More so off the field, I would love my legacy to be. I'm big on investing, and I try to mentor some of the boys to make sure they use their money wisely, and that'll probably be my off the field thing that, that I've created, especially in our PI communities, that I've shown a different pathway or showing our pathway for them to invest wisely and to create a better a future for not so much them or for us, but for our kids and their kids. So, because rugby money is good money. It's not long. You're not going to have it for a long time, but it can definitely give our kids a better opportunity. So, I think off field will probably be that.
Oh, awesome, man, Maros.
Just going on that, is property like the general kind of thing you invest in, or just roughly?
Yeah, that's all I've ever done. That's the only thing that that's the only thing I kind of got into, because when my old man he worked at a factory all his life. He ended up, at the time when I was a young fella, in the holidays, all my brothers and I will all be at some of the rentals, fixing them up and painting, landscaping. And at the time, I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, man, every weekend we're there cleaning up these houses. But this guy worked at a factory and he had 3 houses.
He's the man.
And this is back, the generation before. That's
the 80s, 90s.
80s. So, and I was like, man, if I do the property game, I have to get more than 3 houses. If I can't get more than 3 houses, I've done something wrong. So, that's all I've invested into. And I've always just tried to get my young boys or the younger boys coming through to push their money into something else, to spend their money. And, I'd love for that to be, that those boys keep passing it on, and it gets some more boys into houses, or it just creates better futures for our families. So.
What does that say about your dad? Because it's funny, because this week I've been having these conversations with people, and I think I was looking at Judge Ayara Malosi, and she had this little YouTube clip, and right at the beginning it had her mum, and her mum was just saying how she'd come to New Zealand. She didn't have that much of a she had a really low income, but she was able to get herself a house and a couple of houses, I think. And then you see Ayara Malosi's house, and it's like super flash. But the thing is this: what is that outcome, that activity, tell us about our parents when they came here with, with very little English? I mean, I'm not assuming your dad had little English, but from people I know, that they had very little English. Most of them came here on their own, with the expectation to send half of their pay back home. But they were able to do that. What is it? Tell us a little about what do you?
I don't want to be stepping on any toes, but man, I don't know. Like, I know it is tough out there now, but man, for my old man to do what he did, like, and at the time I didn't understand it towards when I started playing rugby, and I was like, Dad, how much do these houses go for now? Like, and he bought it for say 90, sold it for 300, and I'm like, hey, is this how it works? And then that's how I got into it, because I could see what it was doing. Like, when you invest in your money, that's what can come out, or that's what can come from it. But yeah, I don't know. Like,
That says a lot, eh?
Yeah.
Bro, your dad's an entrepreneur, man. Dad's the man.
I love that, and I love what you just said. Like, he had 3, I'm gonna have more. Like, they set a bar for us, and we just gotta like mountain it. That's cool. I love that. But it tells us, because to get into the property game back in those days, you have, regardless of how much English you have, you got to know how to communicate. Yeah. You got to know how to read those legal documents, because you got to sign that stuff. You got to know how to ask questions, and these are the fundamentals. These are the fundamentals, that they've given us. And I know it's harder today, but it would have been just as hard for them back then. If we took the same scale back then, it would have been just as hard. But they made it happen.
Yeah, my dad would always say, like, you guys are lucky, you guys are like 5-6%. He was at like 16-17% back in the day. So
it's
I was
harder.
like, nah, that's pretty
Was
tough.
that the interest rate?
Yeah, I was back in the day.
Because it went right up to 50, I think, or something.
Well, I don't know, but he would always say that. Nah, you guys just spend too much money on food and sweet.
16%.
Yeah, that was high. It was, back in the day, it was high.
Jeez.
So he would always say that to me, and I'm like, to my brothers and I. So yeah,
Wow.
That's crazy, man. But they made it. They
make it
did
work.
They did it, and just the heart, And you can see how that's been passed over. And I love what you've done with it. You know what your mum and dad have implemented in you, and you've just taken it to a whole nother level, which is cool.
Just 2-minute noodles and bread.
Mean house though, bro. Mean house.
Look at the house. Oh, what a basic house. You walk inside, there's no furniture.
Yum yum noodles.
Noodles back then was flash. And the margarine butter and the bread. Yeah, they went far, man.
You're the man, Charlie. I heard through the grapevine that you had 300 properties.
Oh, no more.
So do you think you and your wife will get to a place where you can help, teach others to get into that space? Because I think that, that experience is awesome to share.
Yeah, I think so. Like, man, I think my heart is like definitely for our poly boys to do better with their money, invest their money. But like, the more I've met people in our community, our home ownership in our Pacific Island community is pretty. It's not as, I think it's in a single digit figures. Like, it's not very high. It felt like we were one of the first people from overseas in, but you see some of the other cultures, they've done really well. Like, they talk about finance, they encourage starting a business, whereas the PIs, we struggle to just even talk about money and how money works. And I think, definitely down the road, if we do well in the property game and we continue to, that we'll definitely do something within our community to, just help people, or just make them more comfortable to ask questions and understand the questions to ask at the banks or lawyers or accountants. So,
or even those have those conversations at home. Around money and that it's because you always get that whole like if you're too much money, you kind of hear that, but there's these mixed values or messages around money that kind of get in the way of people being okay to have money and invest money and grow money. And so it's, I find it, as Pasifika people, like we have to really overcome those messages and change the culture. Like, we can give more. We have more money, but I mean, come on, we need to figure out how to grow money because the 9-to-5 jobs at the moment, they're not, I mean, right now, the economy is causing people to go down to 4 days a week.
Yeah.
You can see it on the motorway in the morning. You're like, where's all the traffic? And so you're kind of going, how are people living off the 4-day income? And most people don't know how to grow that. And that's a skill in itself, is being able to grow that money so that, you know, you're not having to stretch it to the thinnest. So I think if you, please, you guys have to move into that space. Because it's an illiterate area. It's not taught in the schools. They have all these money programs out there and they, you know, I don't know, they're just not sharing it enough.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely no pressure, but
No, that's cool.
man, it's definitely something we want to do. I just think I've got to make sure that I do our part to so people can trust you and you have a reputation behind you that's trustworthy, and then from there, like, you just let the work speak for itself, you know, like once people see you doing it, then they go, oh, he's a good person, blah, blah, blah. But I always think, you know, when you always say about when people have money, like if you're a good person, like money just makes you an even better person. Like if you're not, then you're just, money makes you like more of not a good person, you know. Like I always have that feeling, like, I mean, that understanding of money. Like people say that, the root of all evil is money. I was like, just people are people, and the more you get, the better you are. Like the more you can give, and if you're not a giver, then the more you don't, you know. Like, so
it reveals the person.
It reveals the person, like a multiplier.
Yeah,
that's true. But that's just it, Charlie. It's the love of money, Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. I think that's one of the biggest myths, is that a lot of people think, oh, if they're rich, they're bad people.
Yeah.
It's but like you said, if you got money, then the more options you have, the more options in terms of helping others and helping yourself. And so, yeah, man, I think, that's also, I think part 2 should be coming back. The
bring
investor.
Rochelle.
Bring you and your wife. The investor, Charlie, the
We
investor.
need a money channel.
The property investor. Oh, man.
We do. We need to have these conversations, but we also need to model. We need to show, like, we need to have these conversations, people, so that people can kind of go, oh, is that, you can actually talk about that and no one's going to like shame you, or no one's going to call you up for something. Like, this is everyday conversation. And
especially when it's with someone that's doing it. It's not like they're theorizing about
dreaming about it.
I'm a business professional, but I've never had a business say like.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's what, like, I'm not a big socials dude, but I know I always get questions about the property game and stuff. So I've only just started like posting on my Instas about the property. So we've got one in Wellington that we're doing at the moment, and we'll just do the buy, reno, flip, and then sell it. Then once we sell it, I'll chuck it up, all the numbers and stuff, so people can understand. And there's people that do it out there, but there's not a person like me that's doing that out there. Or I haven't seen an islander do it out there, because then, you know, it just seems like it's more relatable to our people. And if it helps, it helps. Like,
No,
Good on you. Good on you, man.
I love that.
For those listening, what are some, I don't know, some, like, what if they're not on the property ladder, what do we need to do to get on the property ladder?
I think just upskilling, like understanding how it works. Like, you don't just need to wait for the money. There's ways, like, for you just to understand contracts, be comfortable talking to real estate agents, having like the good questions to ask them. Like, you don't need to have money to do that kind of stuff, but just being around that environment, because then you have these your network builds, your communication gets better. Like, they understand what you're looking for, and then if you built all this up, then when the money comes, then you just go boom. Oh, remember I needed that house, and you go, and then they'll be like, send it straight to you. All the channels are open before you got the cash. So just like all that learning, just a lot of self-help stuff to understand just you better kind of stuff.
Because there's, you know, these programs out there that's like $10,000 for you to jump on and learn, you know, how to get onto the property ladder. Do you have to do that?
Do I have to do
No,
that?
and just like people who are wanting
People who
to
don't
learn.
know, do they
have to go
Oh.
into those, or is there a book that they could maybe start their
Oh,
journey with? What books would you recommend?
My first book that I read about property was that Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Robert
Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki.
From Kiyosaki. I love that book, the Richest Man in Babylon. That's a good book.
Yes.
Those are good. Like, man, it's just talking about how your money, your cents, your quarters, because it's back in the days, they're all just working for you, and it's even just the your silvers, your gold, they're all working. You get a silver off the gold, you put that back out to work. But he talks about it, about like they're soldiers, so they're working for him. But it's just about money. It's just money, just investing money. So it's like a cool mindset.
That's cool, you're right? Was it the seven curses of a lean person? Was it the one?
Even like one book I liked was that the millionaire next door.
I saw that on
you
Facebook
seen that?
Marketplace.
Man, that's an awesome book.
Oh.
It just talks about people that some people that are millionaires, you wouldn't know they're millionaires. The way they look, the way they talk, the way they come in, they try to do like having a get together. They brought all the champagne and stuff, and people just come in. I want a beer. I want a Coke. Like, they're just your normal people, but people make all these millionaires to be these fancy people, but they're not. They're just your small businesses that have done really well, and they're still the same people. They got their little truck, or they're still in their overalls, but they've done really well. You just wouldn't know they're millionaires.
It's true, man.
And they just wear black t-shirts, black pants. I was kidding. But you're right. I saw a program and they were showing the real life of millionaires, and there was this one lady, she made a product and it went, it built like a massive empire, and she was still using coupons at the supermarket, and I was like, get it? I love that. That's so cool.
I think it's like the message is like, it's just living like below your means. Like, it's all just like, you obviously get all this money, but you don't need to change your lifestyle. Like, we get all these flash cars. It's a cool thing to have and all, but it's not like, I think that's where people get into trouble, is when you get more money and your lifestyle gets more expensive, and it just keeps going, and you end up with nothing in the end. So
those are good books to have. Rich Man, Poor Dad, Babylon.
Richest Man in Babylon.
Richest Man in Babylon.
The Millionaire
Millionaire
Next Door.
Next Door.
That's a good one. That sounds
It's just
like
like
a really good one.
mindset, just perspective, eh? Like,
Yeah. Do you know what I love about you guys who are in the elite athlete space is the mindset that you have to play the game and take yourself to these new levels. Just the transition, how you're able to transfer that mindset into other spaces. And I see that, I can hear that that's what you've done. It's so good. It's so good.
Very hard. Oh, man. I'm glad we kind of went down this route, man. Man. Obviously, people always think Charlie the All Black, but man, there's so much more. There's so much more behind the scenes, behind the black jersey. And, oh man, you just blew me away with in terms of the investment, property, and so forth. So how can I sign up for capital? Could you?
No, but that's actually a really good question. Like, if you don't have money, have you thought about innovative ways that people can, get a deposit together, other than like the home programs that they've had that's finished now? But like, what are some innovative ways people can gather a have a deposit to just put down on a house? Is there
without capital? Yeah, like
you need capital, eh?
Or is it wise to go in with people, like share the deposit and?
Yeah, that's a good
I know.
question. Do you think that's a good idea?
It's always it is a good way. It's a good way to get in. Like, if you are really wanting to get in, it's tricky down the line if someone wants to get out, because it's hard to sell 50% of a house or 25% of a house. Like, you have to sell up, and people don't want to sell up, and it gets a bit messy in that. But it's definitely, I've seen like a lot of siblings go together and just put KiwiSaver in, and to be fair, you'd be surprised how many people would qualify for a mortgage. But because they just think, I've got to get 20% cash, or just 20% by themselves, that it's a big number, like $1 million or 800, because it's the going rate now. Like, you got to put up 200. Like, that's a big number. But when you get 3 or 4 people together, KiwiSaver, a little bit of savings, the banks might even come down to 10%. They can make it work. You just got to go and speak to a mortgage broker.
Cool. I was going to ask that. I was going to ask that very question for people who want to, engage, because going to the bank I heard is not really the best route, but going to a mortgage broker is a good.
Yeah.
Do you have any? But then there's mortgage brokers that are a little bit dodgy. I won't name them, but
No, yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
is there any criteria for a mortgage broker? Like,
No.
is there reviews that you can read before you go and approach them?
Yeah, when I got my one, I just met him and it just kind of worked out. But you don't pay them. The banks pay them when they set up a mortgage for you. So they're working for the bank to get them more customers because they get the kickback or their pay from the banks.
Yeah.
Only if they make a sale.
Only if they do the sale. So you don't pay them. Or the banks only pay them. The only thing is if you sell the house within like a term, like say if you sell it within 2 years, the mortgage broker has to pay it back to the bank, and then you end up paying the mortgage broker might be only like $2,000 to if you have to sell something back to the bank.
Oh, okay.
Or if you sell your house within 2 years or something, or maybe it's 1 year, 18 months, whatever the time frame is, you have to pay. The mortgage broker has to set the loan up for more than that time.
So right now because maybe a year ago they had low interest rates, high prices. Now we have low prices, high interest rates. Is this still a good time to buy,
Yeah, I think now's the time to buy.
even at the high interest rate?
Yeah, because then when it comes down, and that's what they're saying, it's going to cost you less on your monthly payments.
Better to go high now and suffer
Yeah.
for a while because it'll come down.
Yeah, well, like where it came from, 2021, like those prices were through the roof. Like, that was crazy prices, eh? So it's nowhere near that. To be fair, it's getting pretty hot out there, eh? Like
Starting to creep up again.
a house just up the road from my house just sold on 1,100 meters.
Square.
Square meters.
Yeah.
So it's a
Million,
big.
That's a big property.
What?
2.1 million.
What?
No.
In Papatoi?
Sorry, just up the road here, two blocks down.
But
How big
1,000
is
square meters
Yeah,
is
what's the
huge.
nice? What's the house like? Is it super nice?
No,
or?
it's just a normal
regular
house.
house.
Yeah,
Oh
regular house.
my!
It's the land.
It's a section,
The
eh?
land.
Yeah, the section, yeah. Wow.
So they're gonna. I think it'll be developers that'll just come in and
Bust
bowl it
it
down.
down.
So when did you
2.1.
predict it, Charlie? When did you predict the kind of
Oh man,
Chloe? Just,
What
month?
No, but people who are in this game, because it is a little bit like a game, but you're always in tune. I know you're in tune with the market. So you're saying it's coming down?
I think so. I think just where it was, the interest rates were trying to cool inflation. I think inflation's come, especially like how the economy is. See people losing jobs. There's 4-day weeks, so there's no more spending money like I wouldn't say that word. Just without thought, like people just go, okay, we'll go out for lunch, bang, pay whatever it costs. Now people are intentional with their money. They go, okay, no, we can't afford that, we'll go here, because they're trying to make it stretch, as you were saying.
Yeah.
So people but the government needs, so they bring it down. So obviously your mortgage payments comes down, so that extra money you save, you're spending, and that lifts the economy back up.
Okay.
That's the mindset.
Yeah. Get some money back into the system.
So it gets the money rolling back again.
Yeah.
So they lift it up, so people start holding back money and kind of controls inflation. But now that I think everyone's saying it's kind of hit rock bottom, or they try to bring interest rates up to lift it back up again.
Spending again, eh? Oh,
So they start spending again.
I've never heard that before. This is the first time I'm hearing this sort of stuff. So it's like, man, that's on another level, and the government is controlling this.
Oh no! So
or whoever is
The Reserve
controlling.
Bank,
So that's the Reserve Bank that
Reserve
controls
Bank,
it.
yeah.
So so they try to keep it between 2. When the inflation got through the roof, it was at 7 or something. So they slowly lift interest rates up to bring it back down.
That's like
man.
on a pawn level,
This
like
guy.
like the king just moving these little pieces. Like
Look at these pawns here.
like damn, that's crazy.
I think well that's my interpretation of how it works. So it kind of makes sense like how it is at the moment. It's pretty tough out there. I was working in the construction industry, and it's really tough in that industry. Like, lots of people letting people go, so it's tough for people out there. So,
Yeah, it's tight, man.
Yeah, and those owners, like, you know, you see them because they're reluctant to let them go, and so they're holding them in, and then, you know, people are like, oh, you know, I've got only 4 days now, and da-da-da-da. But then the employer, I'm like, man, you even think about what the employer has to hold, because they can't even afford you because there's no work. They're pulling out of their bums to keep you employed. Some of them know that and they have a bit of empathy, but then there's others that don't, and they just keep yanking at the poor employers. But man, we really need to be just alert to maybe what some of these business owners need in the moment.
It's definitely tough. Like, one of my mates has a business, and it's definitely from when the COVID to now, and he's been like, you know, some of the financial crisis, like 2008, some of them are saying, mate, this is way worse. Like, just with like the lowest, like the our lowest wage, just with that, like, because that's so high, that means there's like less people to employ because you got to pay out 23. So these businesses can't afford to keep paying, because then, whereas before it was a lot lower, then you can afford to have more people on. It kind of keeps people employed, but at the moment you can't afford. So there's a lot more people unemployed, economy's down, and then
blame Labour.
Yeah. No, that's why you said, like you said, there's a reset. They have to reset it. Yeah. Oh man,
that's so interesting you said that, because I remember hearing Mark Cuban say this a couple of years ago, and I was like, but he was really against raising minimum wages, because then it puts strain on, like you said, on the companies. So now, like, I can't hire everyone anymore. I could only hire maybe 1 or 2 people, and they have to be at a certain level of efficacy. Like, they have to be efficient enough, otherwise they're just wasting money. So it's like, damn, that's actually true.
It's one of the fallacies. You think, minimum wage, and you realize the employers like, ooh,
that's gonna hurt.
I'm hiring people who are not well trained or don't have the skill set.
Plus, you've got to do like the Kiwi Saver on top, and all the pay, the sick pay, and all that. Like, it's costing money.
So it's potentially hurting especially like the 17, 18, 19-year-olds that are looking for work. They wanna now they have to have a certain level of efficiency within a workplace to be able to get the job, otherwise they're not qualified. I can't get you to just push trolleys because there's limited jobs now, and man, that's crazy.
And they can't hire people who are actually skilled to do the work. It's like,
and it's hard to get work experience, and it's just kind of big old circle. It just
and that's what the minimum wage does. Everyone, no,
just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there, like,
because we got a mortgage broker here.
But those two views are so important to see this all from. Like, on the one end, cool. On the other end, it just changes the whole employment game.
But even the way you're talking about money is also interesting. From learning from these books about the money working for you, it should be making you more money. Your cents and your dollars and your.
Have you done crypto?
Nah.
Would you?
Nah.
Is it too complicated or too volatile?
Probably complicated, and like and there's like, I don't think you can police crypto at the moment. Is it still like that? If someone steals your crypto, you can't find. You know, like, someone gets into you and gets it, hacks it, your crypto is gone. Like,
if you lose your password.
If you lose your password, gone. So it is, man. It's done awesome things for people. Some people, it's hurt some people too. But it's definitely something you wanna. If you were to put money in, it's money that you will, you can easily say goodbye to. Yeah,
because other than that's good perspective. Because other than property, because you're right, people have to figure out like how to grow money. How to grow money, especially when jobs are limited, the hours for the week are limited. So property's one. What are other areas that people can?
Definitely the share market. That's probably the best one.
Have you tried?
No,
is that stock options or no?
No, I never got into it because I just went into property, but. It's probably the best place for people to start out at, because it's a low entry level. But you can put in as much as you want. They got awesome providers now.
Sharesies.
Sharesies is one, and they've made it so easy too. Like, it's easy to get in, and you just pick, or you can pick it.
company.
Or you can just go into, you can pick companies or just go into like the SP 500, I think it's called.
Yeah, SP
you know, you
500,
just go into like a group of companies, and that's probably what they say is the best way to go to. So you're not just relying on that one company. If it goes bust, all your money's gone. And
It's a little bit biased, eh?
what's that?
That group of companies.
Yeah, well, it's I guess it's the best performing 500 clubs, 500 companies in the US. I think they have one for New Zealand, maybe, or definitely Australia.
True.
So if one of them are doing good, or if one of them are doing bad, you're still got another 400 or something
Oh,
that's
okay.
keeping you afloat.
Oh, okay.
It's cool. Eh? It says what Vanguard, eh? Vanguard and
Yeah.
BlackRock.
Oh, nice.
Those ones, bro.
Charlie, conspiracy theory.
Illuminati.
He just wanted to drop what he knew about the SP 500.
I don't know anything, man. But man, awesome. It's just amazing, Charlie. It's just been a cool conversation, also. Cool to know, man. I hope it's been likewise for you.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome.
Oh man, just the wealth of knowledge that you have, obviously in the finance space as well, but also being a professional athlete in the All Blacks. Also, man, just thank you very much. I can guarantee you now, bro. We need to have a part two. We need to have a part two for you coming here talking about property investments. Obviously, with land, obviously Robert Kiyosaki always believes that land is always God's. What did he say? Is God's kind of like natural? Was it?
Was it God's money? No. God's.
No. Well, they're not building any more of it, so land is land. Eh? Like, if you get it, that's yours. That's yours for forever. You know, like
Yeah.
you just wait till there's so many people that land becomes so expensive. So
That's true.
that's kind of what it is. Eh? It's just becoming. Everyone's getting pushed out. You're gonna choose to do a 40-minute or an hour to come in from Puki or something like that, or you stay in the hub and you pay the price. So
Man,
It's
awesome.
like what happened in Parnell and Ponsonby.
yeah, pretty
eh?
much. Yeah.
Now they're pushing us out of here.
Was it gentrification? Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Bloody. Yeah.
But
Anyway.
that was kind of what you were talking about with the crypto. It is uncertain, so it is new, and there's all these other things. It's not as secure. People can maybe hack it or steal it. But with land or property, it's like it's fixed, like it's there, and it's always going to be there, sort of thing.
And like I think there's such a love for property. Like us New Zealanders and Aussies, we're very similar. Like it's just such a trusted investment. Obviously, you have to live in a house, and that's just part and parcel of what it is. But obviously, with the more people coming into this country, it just makes it so much. Just the growth of property just goes and goes. It's not guaranteed. Nothing's ever guaranteed, but it's done well. It's like the past history has, it's a lot of proof to say that it's been good. So
Man, I don't love also. I just really enjoyed tonight. It's been really cool. I really wasn't expecting it to go down this route, man. But what awesome, man. Awesome also. Man, just mad respects also. All the best with your endeavours for 2024. But otherwise also, man, thank you so much for jumping on board and joining us at the table. Appreciate it, man. Thank you to your wife, your lovely wife, Rochelle, as well. But yeah, man, thank you so much, Us. You guys
Just a couple more questions. I'm definitely excited for you. You've said this is pretty much a clean slate, so you're not sure what you're going to do next. So looking forward to some of your content about like the financial stuff. That's cool. Just for if there's like a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid that wants to be an All Black, what would you say to them? What advice could you give them?
man, like probably similar to my son. Like just have fun. Like do it for. Just do it because you want to be around your mates. Like, this isn't the time for you to be focusing on AB. Like, everyone wants to be an AB, but having that brotherhood, like building those brotherhood or those friendships at that age, like that's more important. Once you get to, I guess, 13, 14, 15, that's when you kind of decide if this is where you want to go, and it gets a bit more... a bit more full on. That's when you gotta, like, as parents, invest more time, drive them to all these places, or put them into these programs where they get help to be professional players. Like, I think at that time, like towards 16, that's where it kind of gets, he can really start thinking about that stuff. But yeah, the younger fellas, man, just play, man, just play and have fun, and yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Was that for your 8 boys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. His sons are
Yeah,
really
you're
good.
saying,
His sons are
you're
really
saying.
good. Yeah, really good players.
Cool, man. Thank you. Thanks for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it, bro. Caroline?
Oh, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the conversation today. So much learning. Gosh, so much learning. So many gems as well that I think we can. I mean, I don't want to be All Black, but I can use some of that in my own life, in my own work, in being a mum, being a wife, all of that sort of stuff. So I appreciate those gems you've shared with us tonight. And, I wish you well, you and Rochelle, with your new endeavour.
Yeah,
and I
thank
hope
you.
you enjoy it and, take all that you've learnt throughout, not just that professional life, but the life before this. And, just use it to do amazing things. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks for having me. That's been awesome.
Love it, Charlie. Charlie, we always give our guest a caricature gift, a cartoon of how we envision our guest to be. And so on behalf of the Mandate team also, this is for you.
Oh, awesome. Hey, man,
thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man. That's been awesome. Thanks for having me, and I'll try to make sure I answer the call when it comes the next time around.
Man, for sure. We're not even kidding. Also, we need to get you back on and talk about investment and property investment and so forth. But Charlie, is there anyone that you can think of before we conclude? Is there anyone you can think of that would be, man, you need to have this person on the podcast?
Off the top of my head, probably have my wife. Hey, I think from a perspective of a rugby wife, it's she, and she's got like a lot of experiences. Like there's a lot of things that we go through as rugby players, and she's at the forefront of everything. So as a rugby wife, so yeah, if you ever want to ask her to come on, she loves the show, so she'll definitely be keen.
Man, that's cool. So
I'd love to have her.
yeah, I think we might have to have both of you on.
Yeah.
That's cool. Appreciate it. But we always give our guests the last words of encouragement for the viewers and listeners. Charlie, any last words, Oos?
No, just thanks for having me. It's been awesome. It's an awesome space to tell and all, so I appreciate it. And if you ever want to talk about property, I'm always keen for a chin wag. So just get at me at my socials and go from there. So hopefully I'll answer it.
Also appreciate it, man. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe, and we look forward to your well thought out comments. And as usual, team,
Refine,
Unlock,
and take charge.
Mandate.